What's up, guys? I'm Chris. We're here at Rio on Cape Hatteras, and we're checking out the brand new Liquid Force Elite Ram Air kite. This is a new foil kite design from Liquid Force. It's designed to be flown off your existing standard 4-line bar. We had test pilot Aaron Roberts go out there today and take a couple of rips for us on the new kite to tell us how it's feel. What's up, Aaron?
Not bad.
How you doing today?
Good, how about you?
Right on, man. So you got your first rip on the foil kite today, and like me, you're a novice foil kite user. You're an advanced LEI kiteboarder, though. You're one of our top coaches here at Rio for the past 3 years, and you've been kiteboarding for about 6 years or so. I've seen you throw down on the LEIs, but this was a whole different animal. What was the first thing you noticed when you popped this up into the sky?
First thing I noticed was where it sat in the window.
Okay.
Much further up than what I'm used to on, say, my Envies or something like that.
Right on. So it flew a little bit further forward in the window, and for those of you who don't know, if you're not a kiteboarder, if you're just getting started kiteboarding, that kind of determines where the pull comes from. So it's going to be a bit of a change from your LEI kites that might pull a little bit more downwind. And Aaron, you're saying this thing really loved the edge of the wind window, right?
That is true.
Right on, yeah. So it tends to really fly super far forward, and we're going to talk about why that makes this kite ideal for foil board kiteboarders, some snow kiteboarders. People that are drawing extreme angles on this kite are really going to love it. So the Elite Ram Air from Liquid Force is available in only 4 sizes: 6.5, 9 meter, 12 meter, and 15 meter. And you started out today on the 6 meter, and it wasn't ridiculously windy. If it was an LEI kite, you probably would have started on a bigger kite, but we know these things have tons of power. How'd that 6.5 compare to a 6.5 LEI as far as the power on the kite?
The overall pull there was a little different. Definitely, granted, you're getting all the pull while the kite is moving. So yeah, definitely using a little smaller size than what I would generally use to foil with the LEI.
Cool.
So there's that advantage there too.
And we were talking beforehand, and you mentioned, like you just said, that when the kite's straight downwind, you know, in Envy, when it's straight downwind, it pulls, right?
Yeah.
When this kite's straight downwind, it doesn't really pull, but as you edge towards the edge of the window and your apparent wind started to build up as you're hammering more and more upwind, what happened?
Then the speed really kicked in. That's kind of where the afterburners kick in there.
Right on. So it's almost like that first gear, you know, almost like in an electric car. It just keeps on going, increasing as you edge upwind. So it sounds like that's really where this kite is going to shine, on those extreme angles going upwind.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did the kite feel when you were going downwind?
Downwind was pretty surprising. So naturally, I would think that it would luff out a little bit, but going downwind, it actually held its shape pretty true. So that was very surprising to see with the foil kite.
And that's one thing that a lot of people are worried about when they first touch a foil kite. You know, there's not much structure here. It doesn't have that inflatable leading edge. So this kite, when you first launch it, it does need to pressurize, and the cells do need to fill up with air. Once it was pressurized, though, how did it feel? Did it feel like an LEI? Did it feel different? What did it feel like in the sky as far as its structure, its strength,
So
firmness?
when you're just flying it right above your head,
Yeah.
it feels a little soft, but once you get going, that's where it really rock solid, keeps its shape, and just like an LEI almost.
So you were surprised with
Very
even with
surprised with once it's performing, the shape holds true.
Right
no
on.
No fluttering, no flapping.
Very cool, and that's what we want. 'Cause that's what a lot of people are worried about, right?
Yeah.
They want the kite to have that structural integrity in the sky. It's not going to have that structural integrity until the cells are all filled up with air. And between being a coach, being a kiteboarder, and your personal life, you've launched a bajillion kites. What was it like launching this kite?
A little scary at first. Definitely a little humbling at first, not knowing exactly what you're doing. So kind of following through on Liquid Force's video.
Yeah, they do have a
Step by
video
step.
online, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So yeah, going through the step-by-step process of making sure the kite fills up with air and having backline pressure the whole time was key to our launching success. And also gonna want to make sure your fly's up on the kite.
That's right. So the kite does have dump valves on it. If you get a little bit of sand, a little bit of water in there, you're going to need to have a way to get that back out. So on both wingtips and in the center, the kite does have dump valves. And as Aaron mentioned, remembering to close those before you take off is what's going to keep the air in the kite. It's what's going to keep the kite holding its shape. So yeah, remember, you zip up your fly, close your Velcros, and as you mentioned, Liquid Force has a great video for how to launch this kite. We definitely recommend anyone that uses this kite to watch that video before they get out there and get it launched. So we've talked about how the Elite's going to be ideal for foil boarders. It's going to be ideal for people drawing extreme angles, like maybe a snow kiter or something. And it's going to be great because it packs up really small for traveling. But this kite's not for everybody. It might not be for a beginner. We're recommending it for intermediate to advanced kiteboarders. It is still water relaunchable. They do have the closed cell technology to try and help the kite keep its shape while it's landing in the water, but you're a very experienced kiteboarder, and we actually had to swim in today because we ended up bow tying the kite, and I think you mentioned a big reason for that was when you first crashed the kite, you were kind of still on plane.
Yup, so I had a little bit of forward momentum on my wife out there going towards the kite, and that kind of gave a little bit of slack along one side of the kite to fold over itself, and without having that full LEI structure, kite turned into the bow tie.
Right on.
Yeah, if anybody knows much about foiling, the bow tie is not very good.
Yeah.
And very tough to come back from that, and fortunately I couldn't pull it off.
That's weird. Us kiteboarders, we don't dress up that much, but we know how to tie a bow tie sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the key there was, like Aaron said, he slacked his lines just a little bit on accident, and the kite didn't handle that very well. Now, that's gonna happen when you're kiteboarding. If you're having fun, you do crash the kite sometimes, and while this kite can water relaunch, especially in the hands of someone who's had a little more practice than us, it wasn't the easiest to water relaunch, and that's something really important to note when you're making your first kite choice. Someone who's looking at this kite, but they're a little concerned with the relaunch, I'd say it'd be a pretty easy transition for them to look at Liquid Force Solo, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of the same light wind characteristics, packs up small, but a little easier on the relaunch there. So why do you want the Liquid Force Elite Ram Air foil kite? If you're a foil boarder, this kite is going to be a perfect match for what you like to do. It draws extreme angles up and downwind, and it has a huge wind range per size. Also, if you do other extreme angle kind of kiteboarding where you can snowboard or even some land boarding, this kite would be an ideal choice. It really carves up and downwind really efficiently, and of course, super convenient to travel with. Packs up small, you don't need a pump. So Liquid Force Elite Ram Air Kite, ideal for foil boarders or anybody who wants to check it out who's intermediate or higher level kiteboarder. Aaron, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Great watching you out there on the water. Looks like it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, always fun.
You can learn more about the Liquid Force Elite Ram Air Kites at realwatersports.com.